Hey everybody, so now we're going to do our little warm-up, okay? And it's called storytelling time, but the theme we're going to use is a storyteller rap. Now, it's called a call and response, and so every time I say, have you heard, you say,
spread the word.
Have you heard?
Spread the word.
Have you heard?
Spread the word.
Yeah, I'm a storyteller with a story to tell, going to tell it loud, going to tell it well. I don't need a microphone when I talk, I don't need a chair, because I'm going to walk, I'm going to strut and stroll, because I'm big, bad, and bold. Have you heard?
Spread the word.
Have you heard?
Spread the word.
Yeah, I'm going to tell it to all the boys, I'm going to tell it to all the girls. Going to walk that walk, going to talk that talk, going to go, go, go. Going to tell it to the mountaintops, to the valley low. Have you heard?
Spread the word.
Have you heard?
Spread the word.
Well, storytelling is an ancient art, and it's brand new. It's healing for the spirit. It's medicine for the soul. And you know what? It's for the young, it's for the old. And guess what? It's for white people, black people, brown people too. Red, green, purple, and blue. Have you heard?
Spread the word.
Have you heard?
Spread the word.
Yeah, storytelling is a thing or two. I can tell it all day until my eyes turn blue. Storytelling rap. Hey, welcome back. This is the second part. Now you had the introduction. The introduction was called Storyteller Rap. Kind of getting your voice warmed up, trying to getting you warmed up and relaxed. It was a call and response. That's from the African and African American tradition. However, many cultures use the same thing. It's a call and response. You say something like, have you heard? Say it back to me, spread the word. Have you heard? Spread the word. You may say, long time ago, way back when, and you would say, this is how a story begins. So a lot of cultures use it. But this is one I like to use. It gets me relaxed, it gets me ready to go. So you can have that, to keep that. Make sure if you use it, you credit it who is credited to. But okay, it's a good thing to work on. Work on it in a mirror, relax, have fun with it. This particular workshop is creating a life story though, which is a little bit different from the other stories that you may hear or someone might tell to you. These are created from your own life experience, from your family experience, even from your pet experience, or you riding your bike experience, whatever the case may be. It's your experience that you want to share with your family or with the world, your peers, your fellow students, your teachers, and so on and so forth. Creating a life story. So that's the difference in this workshop. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. I want you to get ready for it. So part of what I like to do is use old photographs. And I go to photo albums. So actually my wife found this for me and brought it out to me. And this is my father. His name is Norris Betts. He was born and raised in a little small town in DeKalb, Texas. D-E-K-A-L-B, DeKalb, Texas. And he was an incredible man. Now I spell my name by not capitalizing, using lowercase. He's one of the reasons why. Because he was such a strong individual, I didn't feel I ever could live up to him and the legacy that he left. Norris Betts. A quick little story about him. As I said, born and raised in a little town called DeKalb, Texas. A farmer, a hard worker. And I said, tell me about your life. And he tell me about one incident you think that was really cool, funny, or whatever the case may be. So he told me about one. He wanted to go to a dance. He said, I wanted to go to this dance and I wanted to take this girl out. And I didn't have any shoes. We were so poor that I didn't have any shoes. I said, what did you do? He said, well, what I did is I put some polish on my feet and I used a rag and I shined my feet. I said, you showing your feet? Tell me, how did that look? He said, it looked great. I put a little thing around it, you know, like a little black cloth, and people thought I may have had shoes on, but that's what I had to do. And that shows you how people can be inventive, but also you get them to share a little bit about their lives. So what you do when you create a story is you use some items like, tell me more. When somebody starts to tell you a story, use that phrase, tell me more. The most important part about getting this story is listen. Now some people like to write it down. You can write it down, record it with some kind of device that you may have, a phone or a tape recorder, anything that you can record it with. So if you don't think you can remember it, use that, okay? Listen, be willing to share, and use the phrase, tell me more. That way you can get all the information you need. Tell me more. if you're interviewing someone, okay? So this will give you skills. You're actually going to become a journalist. You know, journalists use that phrase all the time. Tell me more about that. What happened? You know, Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so, Miss So-and-so. Tell me more. Listen with your heart, with your head, with your mind, and use the phrase, tell me more, and be prepared to share the story. Now, you got 10 minutes you can do this in, so use that 10 minutes wisely. Now, some pictures may come up that will help you from my family, and I will share those in a little bit. Okay? Take your time, 10 minutes. See you on the other side. Okay, we're back again. This is 3. Now, I gave you a few minutes to kind of collect the stories. Collect those photographs and things like that you want to use. So have you had time to do that? Okay, good. All right, so now that you collected the photos, you can arrange the photos. Maybe I'm going to show you these photos that'll come up in the video. It's of me at different phases in my life. Now, don't laugh, okay? I'm not going to laugh at your photos when I see you. But it's when I was when I was 2, when I was 4, when I was 6, and when I was 12. Each one of those phases had a little story to it. When I was 2 and 4 and 6, I wanted to be on every picture that was ever taken. So I would go between legs, hug my relatives, whatever it took to be part of that photo. Because I always wanted, I thought, I didn't know really at that time, because I love the radio, I just wanted to be on the radio. But then I thought, well, maybe I should be in movies, because I love to take photographs. So that's why you'll see those different phases of my life. So, and we're lucky too. One thing that helps me remember about those photos that you'll see is when I was a little boy, because these are only photos that are left. Unfortunately, when I was a little bit older, like 10, 12, our house was destroyed in a fire. And so a lot of those photographs from the family were destroyed then too. So those memories that I have with those photographs are precious to me. But also those are fun photographs too. You'll see with a couple of my brothers, my big brothers, who were my heroes at that time. So pull those photographs together. If they're of your father, your mother, your grandmother, your aunt, your uncle, your sibling, now go and interview them and find that story, collect that story. Remember what I told you in the last segment? What was that? Listen with your heart, your mind, okay, of course your ears, but make sure you listen, grab that story. And then when you're doing the interview, remember to use the phrase, tell me more. You got 5 minutes. See you on the other side. Now to help you relax, I'm going to tell you a little short story. Now I want to ask you a question first. Do you know what a dragon looks like? Of course, everybody knows what a dragon looks like, right? A long tail, breathes fire, big, that sort of thing. Can fly too, right? Everybody knows what a dragon looks like. Well, this story comes from the kingdom of Wu. And Wu was in the part of China, okay? So in Wu, there lived several people. They were horsemen, and they were amazing horsemen, okay? They rode their horses, always had clouds of dust because they had so many horses. Then there was a village up in the mountains, up from Wu. And they were all very peaceful people. Never caused anybody any trouble a lot. Now, people who lived farther down, the horse people, they were really warriors. So one day, they were coming to attack the smaller village of Wu. Now, outside the gate of that small village lived a gatekeeper. Now, the gatekeeper, he had lost his family in a terrible accident. But the village took him in. They fed him, they clothed him, gave him everything he needed. All he had to do was watch the gate. So he got his bowl of rice and a little bit of water, everything he needed to sustain himself. So one day he sees this big cloud of dust and he knew the horse people were coming. So he goes and warns the king and queen and all the court. He said, the horse people are coming. And he said, what should we do? And the king said, go back to your gate. I'll take care of it. So they had just been having a big meeting before they all came in. They had rice all over them, and they were walking. They were just like being slobs. And so the king says to the wise people, he says first to the young warriors, the military, he said, what should we do? And the military said, well, we should fight them. And the king said, have we ever fought anybody before? And the military said, well, no. So then he says to the merchants, what should we do, merchants? They said, I know what we can do. We can pay them off. I said, well, how much money do we have? Well, we don't have that much money. So we won't be able to pay them off, right? Okay? All right. So he then asked the wise men, what should we do? And the wise men said, we should send for the dragon. And the king said, that's a very good idea. And he walked out. He was all quiet because everybody else was hiding up in their beds. He went to the gatekeeper and said, can you send for the dragon? Goes back in. Next day, there's this gatekeeper's out watching the gate. And up to the gate comes a short, fat, bald man who walked with a cane. And he said, take me to your king. I'm the dragon. And the gatekeeper said, well, you don't look like a dragon. And the short, fat, bald man who walked with a cane said, well, have you ever seen a dragon before? He said, well, no. Well, take me to your king. So he took him to the king, and the king, once again, they were all having another feast again, eating. And he said, King, the dragon is here. And everybody looked around looking for the dragon. All they showed was a short, fat, bald man who walked with a cane. They said, I don't see a dragon. He said, it's him, the short, fat, bald man who's walking with a cane. And they all start laughing. The short, fat, bald man who's walking with a cane. Dragon? And the dragon said, if you speak nicely to me and share your food, I'll save your kingdom. And the king said, but you're not a dragon. I need you to leave now. Just get out. So he goes out with the gatekeeper, and the gatekeeper said, are you hungry? I'll share my food with you and my water. So they sat down and they had a nice meal. And the dragon said to the gatekeeper, he said, because you're so nice to me, I'm going to save your kingdom. So he steps outside the gate and he takes a deep breath. Big old wings pop out. Took another deep breath. His tail popped out. Fire came out of his mouth. And as his wings took hold, he started to flap them. And he flew over the village and started headed right to the horsemen. The horsemen were coming. They were riding real fast. Their hair was blowing all back. The dragon swooped down on the horsemen. Blew that breath. Horsemen went back. Got back on their horse and they took off again. Dragon took another deep breath. Blew those horsemen all the way back to their village. All the people came out of the village and woo, and they started applauding. Yay, yay, you saved us. And they picked up the gatekeeper because they thought the gatekeeper had done it. And the gatekeeper said, I didn't do it, it was the dragon. And they said, what dragon? The short, fat, bald man who walked with the cane. That was no dragon. Yes, it was. That was a dragon. A short, fat, bald man who walked with the king. He said, if you treat me nicely, feed me, I'll save your village. So it wasn't me at all. It was a short, fat, bald man who walked with the king. And that's a quick little story. A little story that is also a fable. And the fable means what? Don't judge the book by its cover. Everything that looks like something is not the same. So that's a little something you can share with your class, with your children, grandkids, or whatever. Short, fat, bald man that walked with the cane is actually, what does a dragon really look like? Well, I hope you enjoyed that short little story called What Does a Dragon Look Like? What does it look like? That's right. A short, fat, bald man who walks with the cane. Now that's a story, a fable. As I said, we're doing life stories. Now, I was just giving you a break so it gives you an idea how you can tell your stories by using expressions, using your body, using your voice, changing your body language and all those kind of great things, okay? So now it's time for you to create that story and practice with your loved one and do it yourself, okay? So this is a chance that you can do it for them personally, or if you're not ready yet, go in that mirror. Go to the bathroom or wherever there's a big mirror and share your story. You've done the interview now, okay? You had your notes. So if you need your notes, look at your notes, read your notes, and try to create that story from what you've written or what you recorded. If you recorded it, just listen to it now. But I want you to be able to tell it verbally, okay? Because the power of a story is being able to share. So you got 5 minutes, okay? Check you out in about 5. How did your practice go? Oh, we call it rehearsal. How did your rehearsal go? Did you look good in the mirror? You know what I forgot to tell you, you can record it too and play it back. That's a great way to do it. Record it, play it back, see how it works. So once you share that story, I want you to think about how it makes you feel. What do you want your parents, grandparents, yourself, your peers, your teacher to get from the story? How do you want it to make them feel? I told you that little fable because I wanted to see how it made you feel about judging, as they say in the old days, judging a book by its cover. Meaning that everything appears to. I mean, for example, you're walking down the street and you see a homeless person and you think, as I've seen some people write on different things, oh, she is a bum. But you don't know that person's story. That story could be that individual is a great person, has a life, had a life before they fell on hard times and had to start living on the street. What would be really incredible, if you're safe, to find out what that person's story is. Maybe see if you can be of help to them. But don't just judge that person by the way they look to you, because they have a life story. And the same way you look at your grandfather, grandmother, or aunt or uncle, they may look and feel and sound a certain way to you, but you haven't heard that story yet. You may have heard part of it, but go get the rest of that story. Tell me how it impacts you, how it makes you feel. Does it make you laugh? Does it make you sad? Make you jump for joy? That's what we call the power. That's what we call the power of story. Being able to share that story with the next person. So the power of the story is when you collect that story like you have, now you're going to share that story with someone. Then you tell that story, pass that story on. That's a story. That's called reflection. That's called sharing the story, carrying that story on. Now, like spread the word as you're opening, that's an old Storyteller Rap. Okay? Now, the story, I don't even know how old that story is. There's so many other stories. Now, on your sheets, you're going to have a link. And the link goes to a YouTube page where I'm telling a story with my friend Amarante Montez. He's playing the flute. And you can share that. That's from a book. It's a good way to get introduced to sharing stories. We're just reading from the book, but we use it. Animation being our bodies, not animation as you see in Disney and that sort of thing, but also using music. So that's why you see the instruments behind me. You can use music. You can use dance, big expressions like that, hand claps, drums, whatever the case may be. Use your body to help you tell that story. That's what I want you to be able to do, okay? That's your task. It's been great spending time with you. Hope you enjoyed this. And let's continue to create those stories, okay? Remember to listen, share, and use the phrase, tell me more. Tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. Okay, tell me more about your life. Tell me more about your story. That's what I want you to be able to do. Bye for now.